everyone, the Green Scorpion here, ready to celebrate the best of the worst. For every good hero, there's a great villain in the mix, and video games are jam-packed with them, from the aggressive, to the sinister, to the just plain crazy. And I will be listing the top 10 villains that truly demonstrate how to play the role of evil. Just like my heroes list, only games I've played, only one per franchise, and none from Marvel or DC Comics. Also, since this is a list about villains, spoilers are present on this list. Alright, let the evil commence. Okay, you know you have one heck of a list coming when Bowser barely makes the cut. Bowser might just be the most famous villain in gaming history, but let's face it, his role as a villain has devolved into a joke. In many games, I found that I couldn't take this guy seriously, and most of the final battles against him I found to be pathetically easy. However, Bowser has had some memorable moments in many games, and he is the villain of one of the greatest video game franchises of all time, a huge reason as to why he's so popular. Also, you have to give Bowser credit for effort. No matter how many times Mario stomps him, he keeps coming back to try again, and he has gone to some pretty amazing lengths to accomplish his goal of kidnapping the princess and taking over the world.
Of course!
And some games do truly demonstrate his villain potential and power, such as Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story and Paper Mario, where the battle against him is actually pretty dang hard. Despite some flaws, I don't think we'll be seeing the last of the Koopa King anytime soon. I found that Gruntilda from Banjo-Kazooie isn't any more serious than Bowser, but she is incredibly entertaining. Gruntilda is a witch who kidnaps Banjo's sister Tooty and plans to steal her youth and beauty and transfer it into her own body. In fact, if you lose the game... I said it once, and I'll say it again. Yeesh. Gruntilda's actions and methods to hinder Banjo and her constant talking in rhymes also get seriously annoying, but it also builds up to the final battle where you finally get to receive your comeuppance. In Banjo-Tooie, she is freed from a prison by her sisters but is now an animated skeleton as a result of her defeat in the first game. Here, she plans to restore her massive amounts of flesh and exact her revenge on Banjo and Kazooie. The thing about Gruntilda is that she isn't really trying to destroy or conquer anything like that. She's just out for herself, and will not hesitate to make others suffer just to get what she wants. She even kills one of the most lovable characters at the beginning of the second game. Not to mention, the final battles themselves on both N64 games are very challenging. She may be a typical witch, but she sure made a good impression as a villain. Ridley from the Metroid series has tormented Samus for so long that it's downright horrific. Ridley is a space pirate who is not only responsible for killing Samus's parents, but also for interfering with Samus's missions almost every single time, with special mention to Metroid Prime, where Ridley destroys the temple just as Samus is about to save the galaxy. In fact, all Ridley has ever done is get in Samus's way, and no matter how many times she defeats him, he always finds a way to come back, whether he survives to fight again, is cloned, or is revived by the selfish actions of scientists. Also, Ridley's look conveys, "Don't mess with me." Like Gruntilda, he isn't the conquering variety of villain. All he has is the ability to torment one person, but boy does he do a good job of it. A perfect example where you don't need to be a high and mighty tyrant or an agent of mindless destruction to be a good villain. Okay, regarding the Portal games, I had a choice between GlaDOS and Wheatley. However, in the end, I went with GlaDOS. GlaDOS, despite being a machine, is a very clever and well-developed character. Not only is she incredibly entertaining to listen to, but she is also a very cruel and sinister villain with her clever and amusing insults, her control over one person's actions, and her false promises.
What?
What exactly is wrong with being adopted?
What's wrong with being adopted? Lack of parents.
For the record, you are adopted and that's terrible.
And
Just
also,
work with me.
nothing.
Hence. Also, she is another villain who isn't out to conquer or destroy. All she wants is one person dead, or more precisely, tested to death. And her methods of doing so are both funny and agonizing, which also makes her a very memorable character. Even after being turned into a potato in the second game, her character is still fleshed out very well. Heck, it's used as an opportunity to connect with the character deeper, revealing that she was based on Caroline, Cave Johnson's secretary. Just goes to show, villainy isn't restricted to organic beings.
Oh, hi. So, how are you holding up? Because I'm a potato.
This next villain is probably one of the most hated characters in gaming history. But you know what? That just means he does a very good job as a villain. Count Vulgar.
It's Veger!
Whatever! Seriously, morality means nothing to this guy. He claims to be doing good by trying to destroy the Darkmakers, but his methods contradict this. To him, the ends always justify the means. He even goes as far as attacking the palace at Haven City himself just to reach the catacombs below. Also, his true motives reveal that all he seeks is power, and he's been plotting his search ever since he kidnapped Jack as a child. But the thing that solidifies his spot on this list is the cutscene right here.
Father, yes, you were that child. I took you from Deimos, hoping to harness your eco powers for my experiments. Then I lost you to the underground. You seem upset. Did I tell you too late? You were the son of the great warrior Deimos. Oh, and he never knew. How delightful.
Spidery brat, I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
Hey! I wanted to do that! Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid is no slouch. This guy has been pulling the strings of political strife ever since the Cold War. By playing second banana to his supposed superiors, Ocelot does a lot of work behind the scenes setting up his plan to, you guessed it, take over the world.
Of course!
Thank you, Ocelot, like we didn't get it the first time. Ocelot may as well be considered one of the most cunning villains in gaming history. Along with that, this guy gives a whole new meaning to the word gunslinger. Even as a villain, Ocelot does have a sense of honor, which is shown during the battles against him in Metal Gear Solids 1, 3, and 4. Ocelot has a lot of characteristics that make him a superb villain. Skill, cunning, honor, truly a model of sophisticated evil.
Ocelot.
I, for one, really hate backstabbers. And Dormin from Shadow of the Colossus is the embodiment of all backstabbers. Dormin is a demon that promises Wander that he will resurrect the love of his life if Wander destroys the 15 Colossi. Even though Dormin mentions that there will be a huge price to pay, Wander sets off to destroy said Colossi only to find out that the price that Dormin mentioned was the confiscation of his own body. The consequences that Wander suffers at the hands of Dormin's actions are heartbreaking to say the least. It becomes worse when it turns out that Dormin actually does keep his end of the bargain, and Wander will never know that he has. Dormin perfectly shows how far you can go as a villain when you have the power to manipulate just one person. And everything he has done to Wander is more than enough to take the number 4 spot. Lavos from Chrono Trigger doesn't exactly have a distinguishable character, but this thing is just pure evil. Lavos is a parasitic being that actually made its way to Chrono's world during the prehistoric era. Since then, it has been building its energy bit by bit as time goes by until it finally unleashes it all in the future, obliterating anything and everything in an effortless burst of energy. This thing only has one goal: to latch onto a planet, feed on its energy, and create its nest to spawn more Lavos so they can travel to other planets and propagate itself. This thing is so powerful that it actually creates time portals in several different eras that, ironically, also gives Chrono and the party the opportunity to put a stop to it. Lavos also scores evil points for causing Queen Zeal's madness, Magus' agony, and the loss of Lady Shala when it absorbs her to become the Dream Eater. The fact that Lavos has been causing problems for millions of years definitely makes it one of the best villains in video games. Ganondorf is almost the perfect example of video game villainy. Ganondorf has the aspects of an intelligent and sinister manipulator, as well as an all-powerful being of destruction. It's actually very interesting since Ganondorf wants nothing more than to enter the Sacred Realm and obtain the Triforce in order to take over all of Hyrule. However, he doesn't take it by force. In fact, he's more like a chess player, moving the pieces and watching how the game plays out. Which is why in most games he's in, Link and Zelda are in some way the cause of his plans working. Along with a clever mind, this guy has power. Quite literally. With it, he can overshadow bodies, summon dark creatures, unleash dark energy, turn into the monstrous beast Ganon, the list goes on. And finally, because he possesses the Triforce of Power, this guy just won't die. As the years go by and different generations of Link and Zelda are awakened, it's still the same Ganondorf, revived with renowned determination. However, the difference between Ganondorf and Number 1 is that Number 1 actually succeeds. So who could take the Number 1 spot over the King of Evil himself? Well, let's recap. Number 10, Bowser. Number 9, Gruntilda. Number 8, Ridley. Number 7, GlaDOS. Number 6, Count Whatever. Number 5, Ocelot. Number 4, Dormin. Number 3, Lavos. And number 2, Ganondorf. Kefka Palazzo. Okay, I must admit, I actually considered this guy a Joker ripoff at first, but after playing Final Fantasy VI and Dissidia, my opinions went from hate to admiration. Kefka does a very good job as a villain for several reasons. All he wants is destruction, and he will stop at nothing to cause it. Throughout Final Fantasy VI, his insanity drives him as he formulates his plan to take over the world. Wow, it's pretty quiet. Anyway.
Of course!
Damn it, Bison! Anyway, as Kefka unfolds his plans, he torments and tortures anyone and everyone in his path, and he actually succeeds in destroying the world to the point where he becomes the new god of magic. In Dissidia Final Fantasy, his malevolent insanity is fleshed out very well as he taunts Terra about her destructive power to the point where she loses control of it, and he also reveals that all the positive thoughts of mankind mean nothing to him.
Why create when it will only be destroyed? Why cling to life, knowing that you have to die?
However, the thing that solidifies Kefka's spot at number 1 is the final stages of Final Fantasy VI. Kefka is now the new god of magic, but after the heroes conquer the 3 tiers and confront him, he doesn't struggle on his defeat. On the contrary, he embraces it. Kefka knows that his end is near, and so he decides to take a final bow by making it as difficult as possible for the heroes to defeat him. Lastly, his theme, Dancing Mad, is mind-blowing. Not only is it an amazing piece to listen to, but it also perfectly represents Kefka's beautifully twisted nature as a villain. All in all, Kefka is an amazing villain. He's conniving, he possesses incredible power, his personality is interesting and at times entertaining, he embraces his evil nature, and is one villain who actually accomplishes his goal. Truly deserving of being named the #1 villain in gaming history. I'm the Green Scorpion. See you all next time.